Madigan.
Thank you, Madam Acting Deputy President. Some people have accused me of hating the environment because of my opposition to wind farms, and I did vote for the repeal of the carbon tax. But if we're not saving the environment for people, what is the purpose of environmental changes? I care about salinity, I care about smarter ways to actually do things. I care about the use of natural gas in our country, and I do care about the protection and preservation of our natural assets. This bill establishes the government's $2.55 billion emissions reductions fund. It will replace the carbon tax and hopefully incentivise a host of new emissions saving initiatives. The emissions reduction fund achieves two objectives. It protects existing projects and it creates opportunities for new ones. There are currently 170 projects across the country, and in my home state of Victoria there are already 19 existing projects. These projects are doing the job that they set out to do, whether we like it or not, but they are relying on this $2.5 billion emissions reduction fund to continue. Personally, whether we like it or not, these people, these firms, the workers for these companies went into this venture, and whether we like it or not, we just can't turn off the switch. And we haven't had any meaningful policy since July of this year. And if we don't have some sort of policy soon, people will lose their jobs, and people will lose their investment, and people have mortgaged their homes, people have gone out and borrowed money against their homes to finance these businesses, and people have taken on mortgages. And more than 170 projects across Australia could ultimately fail. And that's more jobs that will be lost as a consequence. And I just can't accept this, and I don't want it on my conscience. And I'll repeat that figure: 170 projects across Australia, and these could fail if this bill is not passed. In the forestry sector alone, there are about 22,000 workers in my home state of Victoria, and there are more than 70,000 more forestry workers across Australia. Earlier today, I asked Mr Hunt what would be the impact on those workers. I honestly thought the ALP cared about working Australians, and I thought the ALP cared about working families. Madam Acting Deputy President, frankly, I don't understand the hypocrisy. How many in this place actually understand this bill? When you jump on the climate bandwagon and have a hissy fit, you ultimately miss the details. You miss the key points that can decide support or failure. How many people actually understand the importance of this bill to manufacturing and people's livelihoods? How many understand the importance of this bill to jobs and money on their table for Australian families? How many understand the importance of this bill in helping families pay school fees and mortgages? Whether you like it or not, that's the fact. That's what we're dealing with. For me, this is ultimately not about ideology. It's not about numbers in a ledger. It's about people, and it's about jobs, and I make no apology for that. I'm no fan of managed investment schemes. They consumed valuable farming land, and they attracted some dodgy operators. And now, currently in many areas, MIS trees are being bulldozed and burnt. What a waste, what a failure. How dispiriting for adjoining farmers to live and work next to such agricultural destruction. And all of this has distorted farm land values. MIS schemes pushed up land beyond the reach of farmers. Now this land will ultimately come back onto the market and prices will drop. And this drop will extend to the cultivated land. The consequences could be grim, especially for those farmers who have debt to the banks. The whole MIS episode has been a debacle and remains so. It's my hope that the ARF will keep some of these trees in the ground. It's my hope that the ERF will bring social, environmental and economic benefits. The ERF will welcome new entrants while supporting more businesses to do more projects. The government tells business to innovate. The government itself must innovate, and by doing so it must take some risks. If the government doesn't provide leadership, what's the point of having any government? Let's just leave it to the market, some would say. I say, what a furphy. Just like the LRET, another furphy. It is still dishing out renewable energy certificates to ineligible wind farm orders. They are the same wind farm orders ripping off electricity consumers. The carbon tax was a money grab from big polluters who inevitably transferred the cost burden to the public. The carbon tax drove up electricity prices, which ultimately punished families and crippled Australian industry and cost jobs. This amendment will inspire innovation, I hope. I hope it will encourage responsible behaviour. I hope it will reward initiatives result in tangible emissions reductions. This is a more positive, practical and sustainable environmental solution compared with the toxic carbon tax. The ERF will promote energy efficiency in households, retail and manufacturing businesses. The ERF will continue to support the capture of methane from landfills to contribute to the generation of baseload on-demand electricity. It will capture the waste gas from coal mines. It will support projects to reduce transport-based emissions. Taking direct action, hopefully direct action will achieve the objectives responsible and necessary emissions reductions. Taking direct action up will hopefully add to cleaning up towards our environment. It will hopefully reduce energy costs, and it'll hopefully improve in business outcomes for Australia's families and for our farmers and manufacturers. I've listened to the debate and I've heard many opinions, but what I fear most is when fear is used to try and persuade, to cajole people. I say it's time to use leadership and vision. Do I think this bill is perfect, Madam Acting Deputy President? Nothing in this place is perfect. But I do hope that this bill is a step in the right direction, without a doubt. Thank you.